So what we're going to do here is we're going to make a new track, if I can remember how to make new tracks in Pro Tools, because it's been a while. We'll call this one Falcon. And we got that there. We go over here, and in here, oh, it's still doing that thing. Interesting. Okay, well, anyway, so it keeps making narrow mix windows for me, and I think that's an M1 thing. I thought I had updated Pro Tools to the newest version. Oh no, I haven't. Okay, there's a 2021.6 version out that you should download. I'll go ahead and do that later. But what I'm going to do here, first of all, is I'm just going to go in here. I'm going to go to my instrument, and I'm going to go down here to Falcon, right there. Falcon is a sampler. It comes with Pro Tools. It's cool. It's actually really cool. It's actually really complex, and I am not an expert with this thing by any means, but I can use it like a little bit. I'm okay with it enough to kind of get by-ish. It's kind of been a while since I've used it, but we can explore this, and I can show you some stuff here. But basically down here is where you put your samples and stuff. The oscillator here shows you like your pitch and stuff like that. You got key groups, you got layers, you got programs, all this stuff in here, and everything kind of like comes together here. You got your program, you got your layers, you got your key groups, and your oscillators for each thing. And you can show different things in here. You can show and hide different stuff. So here we can show our samples, we can show our pads, we can show our levels, things like that, modulation. Up here in the upper right hand corner. And also, it just reminds me that Joe Albano, who is the teacher for the afternoon, he actually has some lessons up, I believe, on, what's it called now? It used to be called lynda.com. It's, what's that social networking thing? You guys have access to it. LinkedIn Learning. It's called LinkedIn Learning. So he actually has some stuff up on there, I think, about how to use Falcon. So I'll put the links up in this video as well for people who have access to that. What you can do, though, is in here, you can go in here and you can, let's see here. Do I have any things loaded up? I don't guess I have any sounds kind of loaded up in here. Let's see if I can get into my preferences and change that. Sound banks. Because I don't think I downloaded the samples in here. So in here, you go in here and you can tell it like where to go. Click on these little buttons here and you can tell it where to go and where to load stuff up. There's this right here. Application support, UVI. Yeah, so I guess I thought that it would load. Oh, maybe it's over here, sound banks, over here on the right-hand side. Yeah, it probably is over there. So what we're going to do here is if we go into general, there's some things, sample drag and drop mode, how you want it to come in automatically. Do you want to come in as a one-shot, like for drum hits? If you're mostly doing drum stuff, you'd want to check that box. Warn of unsaved changes, that's a good one to have. Part coloring scheme can be gray. You can have it do chromatic stuff, different things, how you want your parts to come in and be colored automatically. UI scaling 100%, always use best interpolation. Let's turn that on. Streaming stuff is your hard drive type. Now, this one here, I would set this for very fast on my computer. Ultimately, you do want it to be set for fast or very fast. 5400 is not really great. I'm going to go ahead and set this for SSD. Cache size, I don't want to set this too high. I don't have that much memory in here, so let's go ahead and set this for like 128 megabytes or so. 27 megabytes. Oops. 128. Apply. Boom. And that's going to set how the DFD direct from disk, how it loads sounds in from your memory as you play sounds in. Oscillator, open sound control, not oscillator, open sound control stuff. I don't know what that is, so I'm not going to do that. And then this stuff here is just going to stay how it is, so I'm going to close this down. And over here under sound banks, we should, yep, there we go, our factory sound. So we can go in here, let's go in here and get some bells, and I can just double click on this. And now I can play that. Let's make sure we're not cranking that too loud. Make sure y'all can hear that. There we go, cool. And so we can use this as a just kind of like for sounds. Like you don't have to use this as a sampler. You can use this as, you know, you can use this for whatever. I can just double click on these and it goes ahead and plays stuff in. And so if you don't want to do sampling stuff with it, you can, you know, just go ahead and just use this as a multi-instrument stuff. And load things in, and they're going to be okay sounds. I don't remember being blown away by this stuff. Let's go over here to synth brass. That's cool. It's got wavetable in it as well. So some cool stuff in here. Going through stuff like this is a really good way to kind of learn your type of like genres of sounds. So you got, you know, like pads is something a lot of people talk about. You got pad sounds, you got lead sounds, you got keys, string sounds, orchestral sounds, stuff like that. Those are not in here. This is more synth type of stuff. But it's a really good way to kind of learn how your sounds are like labeled, is just kind of going through and looking at presets and stuff. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to clear this out. I'm going to clear the multi out. So we start over here in the beginning. I'm going to change this. I'm going to turn the streaming off for now. Streaming is if I'm streaming stuff off the hard drive, and I'm just going to make like a little drum kit here, and with that streaming off. And I'm going to do that using my hard drive over here, Zaphod stuff, and we're going to go in here. We're going to go into our sample libraries, and let's go in here and let's go to our let's go to Sample Magic, and in here on the right hand side, this is where you can actually get to all your places and stuff like that. If you're sampling stuff directly in from Pro Tools, you need to navigate to that place over here on the right hand side. Unlike in Ableton Live, where you can just drag it in, over here you need to like navigate to it in this side over here. So I'm going to go ahead and just making this a little bit bigger so we can get into stuff here. And let's go to Deep Tech House. Now let's go down here to vinyl. Here we go. Let's go to these, where is it? The vinyl and tape drum hits. And in here, I'm going to grab some of these here. Let's grab some kick drums. So in here, let's go to machine stuff. So I can take this and I can drag this in. And once I drag it in, if you can see how if I go all the way up, it's going to put it across everything. But I want to make a drum kit here. So if I mouse down, it narrows it down to one key like that. And I just put it in. And now, where are we? There it is. So there's my kick drum. And I'm going to close that folder over here on the right. And let's go over here and let's load in a snare drum. This one here. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to make sure that when I put it in here, I want it to be, let's see, how would I do this? I definitely want it to be a one shot. And this is the part where I always kind of forget how to do this to make it into like a one shot. I mean, since I'm making drum sounds, I guess I could just like tell it to drag everything in as a one shot. Let's just go ahead and do that. I'm just going to delete these out. Click on it, hit delete. And let's go over here to our preferences. Whoops, not that. In here to our preferences. and just tell it to drag everything in as a one shot. There we go. Boom. Because I'm doing drum sounds, so why not, right? There we go. There we go. Cool. So now it is this one shot here. And again, I'm not really sure where you would set that in here because I just don't use this thing that much. So unfortunately, there's going to be some holes here, but you'll get the idea. So I got this in here, and then I got my, let's go over here to my kicks. Again, drag the same one in. That first one was fine. And drag that in like that. Boom. If you don't want to see all this extra bits and bobs here, you can just turn that off and we can just see our sampler and our pads over here. Okay, cool, we got that. Let's grab some hand claps. Let's grab a layered. I like that one. That one's cool. I'm gonna drag that onto this one right here because that's a pretty normal place for a hand clap. Cool. Let's grab some hi-hats. Let's grab a closed one. Okay, cool. Put that on the F sharp here. Awesome. Let's grab an open one. Yeah, that one's fine. Now you can hear there's a bunch of extra stuff in here. Let's grab one more closed hi-hat. Yeah, that one's a good one. And maybe actually I want to move these around a little bit. So let's move that one there. Let's move this one over to here. And grab the end there. Okay, so we got that there. Now, a couple things I want to just point out to you while we're here is that over here is where we can see all the stuff. So you can see this red note here is the root, and I can click and drag this up and down like that, right there. And then I've got my key zone here. This is all stuff we talked about before, and I can click and drag like that to extend the key zone on the left and the right. Right now it's just on one key. I could also go over here and drag this letter here. I've also got my velocity zone. The velocity zone, I can grab that and drag it down so I can get different velocities, all that stuff right there. So there's that. Oh. Key group editor functions. You can you can copy stuff and duplicate things like that. Just various things. There's a bunch of shortcuts and stuff in here. I don't really know, I'm not super deep on this. I just know that you can copy and duplicate key groups and things like that. Now, over here, what we'll notice is that, let's go here, this one here. You see how it's got all this extra bits over here on the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the end here. There you go, and get rid of that extra stuff. Same thing with this one. Okay, now one thing I want you to notice is over here on the right, down here, this little MIDI button. What this MIDI button does is whatever note I hit, it's going to show me that sample up top. So I can edit it. There we go. Oops. There's this. Cool. Grab this one. There we go. This one has a really long tail on the end. I don't want all that. There we go. Cool. Gonna grab the end of this. And you can highlight different parts here. And I think when you highlight these, yeah, you can right click on them, you can fade in, you can fade out, more like a normal sampler. A lot of like old school samplers had this kind of stuff where you can like fade in, fade out. You gotta watch out though, this stuff is destructive. So this will change your sample. Excuse me, sorry. This will change your sample. It's actually destructive as far as I know. So I don't want to do any of that, but you can highlight different parts and you can do things to it, which was something that we used to always do with the hardware samplers. I'm not going to do it right now though, but you can crop things out. There we go. So now I've got this in here. What I'm going to do is set this up. And there we go. So this play mode here, I can set this to mono retrigger. And that means that like not everything can play at the same time. Now for drums, which is not really, we don't really want to set this up like this for drums. If you have like a bass sound or something like that, maybe. So we want to keep this in poly mode. You can just see how everything kind of comes down here. So these here, these ones here, we want to put these into, we want to put these into what they call them, key groups. So these key groups, or oh, there's another word for it. I forget what it is. It's in the notes. But basically it's like this. If we have this set here, see how I click on this? These are set for 0. And I can play these, if they're in different groups, like these ones that are set to 0 can just all play at the same time. But these over here, if I set these to 1, when I play 1, it's going to stop playing the other. These are usually called choke groups in samplers. This is called, it's called X group. I don't know what the X stands for, but essentially it's like a choke group. So if I want like this hi-hat, whenever I play this hi-hat, if I play one of the other hats, like this one, I want it to stop playing that open hi-hat. I just put them in the same group. Usually there's like 16 groups. This one has 32. Cool. Can double click it and just put it in the same group. This hi-hat right here, I don't want it to choke this open hi-hat. I do not want it to do that. So I'm going to go ahead, and this one here, I'm just going to put it back into 0. See, now they're not choking each other. This one will choke it. So now, whoops, I can go in here and I can make my drum beat. If you remember how to make drum beats in Pro Tools, hopefully you still do. I'm going to go ahead and highlight this right here. Let's get my metronome going on. Track, create, click track, boop. There we are. Turn the volume down a little bit. Let's go ahead and slow that down. Okay, cool. So we got this here. I'm going to hit the record on this. There we go. Cool. Because it's MIDI, I can go ahead and turn that record on and off while it's playing. And now I'm going to go ahead and open up my quantize here. Set this quantize up. Set that strength to something other than like, there we go. There we go. Cool. Nice. I'm going to set up my input quantize. I don't use input quantize in Ableton Live because it doesn't allow me to set the strength in Ableton Live. I'm going to set my input quantize strength here to like 50% or something. And now, cool. Cool. And you can hear, you can see it quantized it. It quantized this last one wrong. Let's quantize that a little bit stronger. Or at least it should have quantized. Maybe it didn't quantize it actually. Did I do something wrong? Or maybe it's because it was playing, it didn't start it yet. There we go. Okay. Let's go ahead in here and move this one over. There we go. Cool. Cool. And now I've got this little sample kit that I made just now. There we go. Cool. And I can do all the normal stuff I could do with Pro Tools. Let's move that over. Move that over. There we go. Cool. All the normal stuff I can do with Pro Tools. And if I want to use Falcon again, go in here, just drag Falcon over with a hold down option, and I can go in here and I can grab some other sounds. And for my sound banks, click on this. Let's go to bass sub basses. Make sure I've got this track record enabled. There we go. Huh. It's interesting. It's got this analog factory sound, so I guess you can do more than just sampling with it. I haven't really explored this too much because I really don't really. Pretty cool. Interesting. Go. If you want like a nice 808 type of sound, you can open this up. You can, well, not open it up, you can like move things around. It gives you a lot of options here. I don't know if I would, okay, that's cool. So it's still in here. It's like a drum sound here. Cool. I don't know if I would mess with this too much if you're, especially like changing things up and moving things around, especially if you're not sure what you're doing right in the beginning. So. Cool. Here we go. Let's record this in here. Move that over. Cool. If you don't want to hear stuff when you click on them, just remember, see how I click on it? I can hear it. Turn this off right here. Remember to turn that off. You're going to have to definitely go back and revisit some of the videos from earlier in the module to really remember about Pro Tools. But this will kind of, hopefully this will kind of get you going again with it. And for those of you who are just turning in your Pro Tools editing assignments, maybe you aren't going to have to go back because you're just now getting around to learning it. So awesome. There you go. I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording right now.